November 22nd, 2024. Was the last time I did a video for this series. And I will have to say that's on me. Okay. Even though I said I was going to be doing chapter reviews for the glorious Katekyo Hitman REBORN, I am almost a year in from the last chapter review I did. And the last one I did was chapter 137. Now, to just recap, and this is more so for people who are just getting into the series. Of course, if you want to watch this video because you already watched and or read, please do. More Reborn fans for me and to connect with all of you. But we are back finally. We gotta kiss the ring. Wow. Yes, we are back to chapter reviews of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. And the last time we basically just wrapped up the Varya arc, which is what happened to Tsuna to say he is the rightful successor. And I would say that was the prelude, because if you know or you don't know, there is literally an arc after this that follows up from the succession, or basically saying that Tsuna is the right heir to the Vongola familia, right? The whole Varya arc was basically between the Varya, who is an assassination group, a high-scale assassination group within the whole Vongola, and versus Tsuna's group, who is next in line, and his guardians to become the head. And so they were going at it because it was best believed that Zonzis was the son of the current head of the Vongola 9th. And he felt like, you guys are robbing me of my rightful place since I am the son. Well, best believe, come to find out that he is not actual, because he was just brought into the family because he had the flames, which is reminiscent of the second Vongola boss, Flames of Rage or Wrath. And so his mother thought, because he has this 9th, here's your son. Now, you do have to remember, this is a Mafia series, so at the end of the day, it's not your typical Mafia series, but it is. So if someone claims, hey, you look a little ickling towards the most powerful guy in this country or in this province or whatever, this might be your kid. Mind you, his mom was probably kind of crazy. So he grew up believing that, hey, I'm the 9th son. Then he found out the real truth after reading his secret diary in his office, and come to find out that he's not actually his son, so he can't pass it down. So he performed a coup d'etat, which caused him to be frozen for some time. And once he was unfrozen due to unfreeze from the flames, 0-point breakthrough, which was created and performed originally by the first head of the Vongola familia, and now performed again for the future successor, which is the 10th, aka Tsuna Sawada. He decided another coup d'etat, and this time to also frame Tsuna. Of course, it all settled down. Come to find out, he's not blood related whatsoever. So the ring rejected him and was rightfully given to Tsuna. And now he also has his guardians. So now Tsuna is on the trajectory of succession and inheritance, and then becoming the next head once the knight steps down. Unfortunately, after the celebration of everybody being okay, and at the end of the day, Tsuna does not want to become the 10th. He doesn't want to be no part of the mafia or whatsoever. Tsuna is one day going to school or going about, and then he realizes Reborn cannot be found anywhere. He's searching up and down, and now, mind you, Reborn is known to disappear at times, but always make a reappearance at the end of it, because he is Tsuna's tutor, right? So then he is in his room trying to find where he's at, and then Lambo being a kid is annoying Tsuna. So he and Tsuna is going at it with each other, and then he gets shot with a 10-year bazooka. This propels him into the future. If you don't know, as I said before, 10-year bazooka, so it swaps with your current self with your future self, who is 10 years older, for monetary time, 5 minutes. Tsuna arrives in the future in a casket because his future self died 10 years later. And while he's around looking and everything, now I'm just trying to get you guys up to speed from what happened last up until this point. He's like, why am I in this casket? Now he's just trying to evade the situation, even though he knows, like, yeah, but it's more like he was trying to make it not seem that serious. And while he's there, he ends up meeting 10-year older Gokudera, and he was telling him that, hey, Tsuna, when you go back, knowing that he got hit by the 10-year bazooka, when you go back, I need you to take out these 2 people. I need first you to take out Shoichi Aire, who his first appearance was way back in the daily life arc. So the playlist is going to be here, so you can go back to that chapter and that video that I did like 3 years ago. I started doing Reborn in 2022 on this channel, but there is a chapter that is solely dedicated to Shoichi Aire, and it's kind of funny because, like, that's probably the last time you've seen him, and just to come to find out, he's one of the villains of this arc. That is the reason why Tsuna's in a casket. And then the next individual, keep in mind, if you are new to the entire series, keep in mind Byakudan. All right, and it'll frustrate you why this man is not in talks in this current day and age for villains and or antagonists, right? So 10-year Gokudera is telling Tsuna, hey, you need to go and take care of these people when you go back to the future. And before he can give even more details, and when Tsuna asks, hey, why am I in this casket, his past or present self, Gokudera, that we all know, makes a reappearance, right? And then they come to the conclusion like, hey, we've been here for longer than 5 minutes. What's going on? Is 10-year bazooka broken? Now this stranger comes up on them and they're like, who are you? And then she starts to immediately attack both of them. She cages Gokudera, and then Tsuna, realizing this situation is going bad, goes into hyper dying will mode. Now, if you've forgotten, I'll just remind you just a little bit. Before, and this is where I had to come to the realization, for Tsuna to go into hyper dying will mode originally, Reborn has to shoot him. Reborn Tsuna every time he shoots him, technically, right? And so for Tsuna not to really technically pass away by a gunshot, and then because of his regrets he is reborn, they condense whatever materials make the reborn shot into pills. So for Tsuna to use his power, he takes these pills and goes into hyper dying will mode, right? So he takes that because Reborn is nowhere to be found, and then he starts fighting her. And this is where we get into chapter 138, where she is shooting these bullets and everything, and Tsuna is trying to invade and or capture these bullets. And she's saying, you know, along the lines of like, is this all you can do without Reborn by your side? So Tsuna is just like, you know, to get out this situation from a stranger that's completely attacking us, and we don't know what is going on because we're in the future, we're somewhere we don't know where we're at. We're in this forest. I woke up in the casket, and now some crazy lady just starts attacking us. So while he's evading and everything, and he goes on the offenses at this point, eventually he does end up punching her, and she does end up spitting blood. And she removes her cloak, and that's when they realize, oh, it's a woman. Like the voice and the long hair and the features didn't give it away, but sometimes these characters act oblivious. I mean, for Tsuna, like, what toddler or baby goes around wielding a gun and dresses in a suit and a fedora? Okay. ignorance is bliss in this series, okay? So while that happened, she realized, oh, okay, I see why you're reverent the way you are and why Reborn has such faith in you. But your old ways of fighting, aka everything that we saw from chapter 1 up until chapter 136, is rendered useless. Because she's stating your old ways of fighting, while strong, would not allow you to survive in this current time and climate. So then she takes out this box and she has her ring, and she puts her ring into the box, opens it up with her flames. And then when the box opens, something shoots out. Then Tsuna sees these caterpillars. I believe that they're caterpillars. No, centipedes, right? Engulfed in flames, will flames. And then they start tightening around him. And so Tsuna doesn't get choked up and strangled to death. He uses his own flames to try to extinguish them. But the more he uses his flames, the more it powers up these centipedes. And so it's also taking away his own flames and then causes him to collapse. And she states that, like, see, this is why it doesn't work. You're not thinking in this situation. Instead, you're feeding into it, because these centipedes absorb dying will flames. And so just when he thinks everything is going to end, Gokudera can't fight back or anything of that sort, she reveals herself to be named Lao Merch. And she's like, you pass, so get your stuff together, let's get going. Now, Tsuna and Gokudera, and knowing Gokudera is even more hot-headed currently right now versus his adult self, he's like, why should we follow you when you attacked us? Granted, it's warranted, because no sane person, once you see a stranger comes up and immediately starts interrogating you, trying to harm you in any sort of capacity, whether it be a test or anything, you don't know, because you don't know where this person come from. You're in a strange place and you see the first person within this strange place starts antagonizing you, and then they afterwards they tell you, oh, this was all a test to just see where you're at. And so what you need to do is get yourself together and let's get going. Heck no, I'd rather just deal whatever is going to happen to me than trust you. But then she goes on to saying that, okay, if you don't want to follow me, you can sit here and die, because what happened is, with this whole squabble that we just had, there's going to be a certain group of people that's going to sense this and know that something happened right here, and they're going to come after you. So what I need you to do, instead of asking all these questions, is wrap up your rings and then follow me. And what she gave them was Mamon's chains. Now, if you remember in the Varya arc, Mamon, in order to trap his opponents, he did use a certain chain, and that was his battle versus Chrome and Mukuro. And Mukuro obviously beat him and everything, but it was to, remember, he had on his pacifier a chain, which is to seal the dying will flames. And then when he unsealed it, or unwrapping the chains he had around his pacifier, he was able to use his powers to the fullest extent. So somehow in the future, Lao Merch and whoever was able to get Mamon's or Viper's chains to wrap up their rings, because they engulf or inflame with the dying will flame. And it's the same rings that is used to open up these mysterious boxes. So while they're walking and everything, she's explaining who she is, and she also shows that, like, she has a scar in her face. Now, if you watch the anime, it looks like a tattoo. You can't tell it's scarring. And this is probably one of many problems I had with the original anime. Like, yes, it is a product of its time, but it's also the heavy censorship it had, that they couldn't show, like, and I guess depending on what time slot they put it under, they were probably gearing more towards younger kids, so hence why there was a lot of heavy censorship with the series. But in the manga counterpart, Lao March does have a nasty scar on the left side of her face. It's like from the temple to her jawline, or more so like her cheekbone. And she shows that she has a pacifier. And she said, the reason why I'm able to grow physically into this adult form is because I, as well as the other archibelenos, or the other babies, were cursed. But I wasn't fully cursed, hence why I was able to age up like this. But all the other strong babies like Colonello and Mammon, they died in this timeline. And Reborn, if you're looking for him, possibly his adult version is here. But for all I know, you're searching for Reborn, you can stop that right now. Reborn doesn't exist. And that's how the chapter ends, because Tsuna is asking, like, okay, if you're able to grow up like that, there's the possibility that probably Reborn also got hit by the 10-year bazooka, and so he got swapped out for his 10-year self. So he's probably a lot older right now, so he can be roaming around and we just don't know where he is. And she just shuts down his curiosity and said, nah, we can't find Reborn. Just give up on that hope. And it leaves Tsuna completely devastated. And rightfully so, because think about it. Reborn came and turned his life upside down, did a whole 180 on his life, and put him through so many shenanigans and scary moments, but at the same time is teaching him how to become not only a mafia boss, but the teachings of making him into a man, right? Some might say, no, he's not, but think about it. The things that he's telling him in situations where you need to have a clear head, you need to be decisive in your decisions. You need to not run away whenever anything gets scary, right? You need to hold yourself accountable for each and every single one of your actions, because it also will not only affect you, but everyone else. And remember, knowing Tsuna, who is timid, he's a scaredy cat, he's not good in a lot of things, in a lot of areas, and then you have this weird assassin hitman baby teaching him all these things, on top of molding him to become the perfect next head of a very terrifying organization at the same time, you know. And even though all of these things, these crazy things has been happening to Tsuna for about how much months now, if not into a year, Tsuna has gotten used to Reborn being in his life. And so to find out that, like, this terrorizing baby who has a chameleon that can shapeshift into anything, all of a sudden just upped and dipped out of my life. And now where I'm trying to find him, and now I'm put into another bizarre situation where, one, I got taken from my time, placed in a time a decade later just to find him, and I have no way of getting back home. And now you're telling me he may not be, he's practically not alive. That's going to throw him in for another loop. He, like, the amount of time Tsuna has died and has been near death, Reborn has always been there. And the one time that he probably does truly need him, in a place and a location that he has no knowledge of, and the only person he feels comfortable with is his so-called right-hand man, his self-proclaimed right-hand man, and his friend from school. The only comfort that he has in an unknown place, and then a lady who attacks them and tells them that, you know, we got to keep going because there are people that are currently hunting us. And the comfort that he can have in his teacher, his mentor, who can probably figure out this entire situation and kind of calm him down in this tension-filled moment, has passed away. And seeing how his face looked like by the end of the chapter, it fits the bill, it fits the situation, because it's just like, if Reborn is not here, what are we going to do? It's more like a WTF moment, and a very scary moment at that, because again, Reborn turned his life a whole 180, and now Reborn is nowhere to be found to basically help him and guide him in this very peculiar situation he found himself in, to none of his own doing. So yeah. And I will say this, if you guys are currently watching the anime, this is the last arc. The 10-year arc is the last arc that was adapted into anime form. And it concluded in 2010, and we have not received another anime adaptation. Mind you, there are 2 more arcs after this. There is a mini arc within this long, because this is the longest arc in the entire series. The 10-year arc is it started chapter 135 and then concluded chapter 282. That's over 100 something chapters, because it's again 135 to 282. That was the last chapter the anime adapted from. And then 283 was the newest arc, the Inheritance Ceremony arc. So that's over 100 chapters. That's like 140 something chapters, 47 or 46 chapters. Yeah. And then the anime kind of stretched it even longer, because recaps in the beginning of the episodes, on top of like there were filler or episodic episodes within the arc as well. So it felt much more longer in the anime compared to its manga counterpart. But I will say this, for the entirety of all 409 chapters, the 10-year arc did take the bulk of it. It did. So again, if you are new to the series of Katekyo Hitman REBORN and you're currently reading and or watching the series and you're now starting into the 10-year arc, do have fun. Just know, if you are watching the anime, this is the last arc that was animated. So enjoy, okay? But if you manage to read this chapter for the first time, or it's your 10th reread, do tell me how you felt about this chapter down below in the comment section below. The links are in the description box, and all the things about Reborn. Tell me what you like about it. And have you guys been praying for another anime adaptation? How likely do you think we're going to get another anime adaptation? Do drop that down below. And I'm Kimmy-chan, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!